Welcome to Show Boys. We're here another Thursday, episode 152, which still kind of blows my mind that we've been podcasting for 152 Thursdays. But we're here. We have a hopefully entertaining episode for you tonight. The whole crew's here. Chad's here, hot off a very eventful evening at work.
Yep.
Nick's here, repping a nice new blue Showboys tee. Let's see that bad boy. We've had a merch shop, by the way, guys, for like a year over on Teespring. The link is in the episode description, so you go check out that stuff. And then Dad's here, repping the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt. Got a cute little green sprout in his hair.
Aggressively muted.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with Dad over there. It's just.
And it's odd because
he's lit.
He's lit. His mic is lit, but he is just not talking. No, nothing.
Honestly, I think I kind of like this.
I kind of like this. Yeah, just stick him back in the background, man. Equipment failure.
Yeah.
You're fired.
Chad, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Great.
You cooling down after your eventful night of work?
Yeah. Had a night.
Nice. Nick, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good. Got the merch on.
Yeah. And I would ask Dad, but he's muted, so
muted with mediocrity.
I think I will translate. I'm doing great, man. It's a great night. Yeah. All right. So
Mike,
thank
how are
you. Oh, I'm doing good. Lots of stuff happening back here. Had a fun little re-recording session last night for the Pokey Boys, and immediately after I was done, I downloaded the MP3 and the MP4. I was quite proud of myself.
Was it better than the first one I deleted?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
And
that's good.
We'll never know. So I would say yes, it was better because the first episode, Jared didn't have his camera available, so it was just me on camera, and then he just had the blank box talking.
Then you
box
had to
next
redo
to me.
it.
So at the end of the day, I guess it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Because Jared was back on camera. Yeah, doing good. We got to shout out top tier patrons before we get into the episode, though. So thank you, Tim B, Yusuf H, and Joe C, and all of our other patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your support. And Nick's wearing a piece of merch, and one of the perks we have for our top tier patrons after so many months of being subbed, you pick out a free piece of merch. So go sign up. You can get some free swag. You can get access to our Patreon exclusive content. We also throw a bunch of our other random content that we create that we can't exactly find like a good landing spot for on our channels. So there's a lot of stuff over there you can check out and take advantage of, and we would appreciate the support. It would mean a lot to us. So go check it out, patreon.com/showboyspodcast. Yeah, so what do you guys want to talk about tonight?
Nothing.
Stuff.
Oh, Dad's back.
I heard of Dad.
A wild dad has appeared.
Guess who's back? Oh,
not Chad. Chad's gone.
Oh man.
Yeah, tonight we'll revisit a classic Showboys episode. We'll just hang out, chat about what we've been watching, what we've been playing. Yeah, what were we gonna say there, Nick?
I was gonna say, interrupted you. Yeah, if you look at our last many episodes, it's actually been a little while.
Yeah.
Since we had just a little while, maybe 8 episodes, 7 episodes, something like that. So it's time to catch up. Even though I only have 2 things on both my lists. So
yeah.
I mean, I have a couple things, and one of the things that I'm going to talk about, I've just talked such an extensive amount on this show about, but I have a different spin on it this time, so maybe that'll pull us.
That's all right.
Fresh spins.
It's been a while, but I don't think I've done anything new since. So yeah, no, there's still stuff to talk about, plenty of stuff to talk about. We actually tried out a new thing. What was that, Tuesday night, guys?
Yeah.
We, we used to do like every month, but we've been slacking lately. But every couple months or so, we'll get together, talk about things, the podcast, behind the scenes stuff, try to plan out, a month or two of episode topics in advance. So we have some sort of plan. Obviously, the plan will fluctuate depending on what releases and what we want to talk about. But Tuesday, we decided to try out a thing in our Discord where we popped in a stage and had our little episode planning session live in our Discord to anyone who cared to pop in. And we just kind of hung out and you got a nice little behind the scenes look at kind of what goes into planning our episodes and whatnot. So if that sounds appealing, you can always jump in the Discord, join it. We have a link in the description, episode description below. Lots of cool conversations happening in there. But I think we came up with some cool, like, kind of episode ideas, and I'm really excited about the episode next week. We're gonna
what are we doing?
We're gonna like debut a new like episode concept called overrated or misunderstood. Where we scoured. I don't want to say the whole internet because we only looked at like 3 articles, but
internet.
Yes, we did look at a few articles of some of the most, well, I wouldn't say agreed upon because the one article was pretty spicy. There's a lot of like really crazy things on that article, but generally agreed upon movies that a lot of people think are overrated. We looked through the list and decided on one that we're going to watch, and we will review the movie and at the end decide if it is actually overrated or if it's simply misunderstood and it's actually a pretty great movie. So look forward to that. We'll tell you what movie it is at the end of the episode, but we have some other fun stuff in the pipeline for the rest of August and September. So stay tuned.
In your article count defense, Google only does show like the same 7 results page after page after page. So
it does seem that way. Yeah.
They lie if they tell you there's 70,000 results. No, there's not. There's only the same 7.
We should have asked ChatGPT.
Oh, we missed an opportunity there. Well, you know what?
That's my bad.
If overrated
it was the
or misunderstood, like, is a fun episode topic, then next time we'll ask ChatGPT.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited because the movie that's on there that we're doing, I haven't seen since like the 90s.
Right?
It's been a very long time.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, I was gonna make that joke. Decided not to. All right, so let's get into the episode today. Who wants to go first? Anyone been watching or playing anything lately? Oh, Dad's nominating Nick.
Dang.
So Nick,
I don't like being up here.
I don't like being up here. It's stressful.
It's too high. Are you scared of heights?
Yeah.
Plus,
seriously, are you?
He's not used to being up that high.
I'm really short, so it's like freaking me out. No, heights don't bother me. This isn't my spot.
Okay. It's not your spot. So am I going first because you pointed down so much right there?
So aggressively.
Yeah, but
So
hey,
aggressively.
Joe makes a great point here. Chad, Sekiro. All right, time to move on.
Also, Dad, Sekiro, move on.
What?
Yeah.
True.
Possibly Nick, Sekiro. Move on. Hopefully.
Is that
Maybe
what Dad
Mike.
thinks I'm gonna
Oh
talk
my
about?
gosh, that would be the biggest curveball of the night.
That's right.
Mike is like, yeah.
Everyone
Okay.
actually quit playing Sekiro, and I started.
Yeah, that's what's
That
gonna
would be
happen.
wild.
Yeah. It'll be
Mike's like,
years
this
since I
game's
played
so
it last.
awesome.
Mike picked it up on a Steam sale for $5 10 years
Yeah.
from now.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's still 30.
It's still gonna be crazy.
I think it'll be 30 forever.
So yeah, Nick,
I'll
kick us
go
off, sir.
first. What you guys pick? What's playing or what's watching?
Watching.
Watching? Okay, so we'll just get it out of the way. I've been watching The Sopranos.
I'll just get it out of the way.
I'm averaging a season a week, so
Nice.
I'm
How many episodes? This
almost 13.
season? Oh wow.
1 hours, 45 minutes to an hour. They vary, but
That's a solid pace.
I think I'm on episode 4 or 5 of season 3. And I just started on
Nice.
the
Your own-
26th.
Yeah, you're about to peak the crest of when it starts getting really good.
Oh yeah. Oh
Season
yeah. I don't
4,
know.
man.
I liked season 1 more than season 2, I think.
Which that's super interesting, dude, because you might be the first person I've ever heard.
Let me
actually
translate
say
that.
that.
Chad thinks you're an idiot because nobody likes season 1.
I mean, compared, but out of those 2 seasons, I had not obviously seen. I think that's because I won't feel that way once I get like all the way through it. But I
Yeah.
felt season 1, season 2 definitely had like more range of episode types and themes. But what happened in season 1, I liked more than season 2. But season 3, I already like more because like the first episode was really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's
I mean,
my favorite thing. All the episodes are kind of different. Like they do a different theme and story concept each episode, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, so I'll be full first person to disclose that I've watched The Sopranos probably 5, 6, 7 times, and I've probably watched the first season maybe once or twice out of that. I usually skip the first season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. I don't know why. I don't know. There's just a lot of weird stuff. Like,
Yeah,
maybe it's just the early episodes. Like James Gandolfini is like trying to figure out the New York accent thing. So he's
remember
like
you mentioning
maybe
that.
overdoing it a little bit, or the acting's just not there. I don't know what it is.
That might be
But see-
noticeable, like if you go back and watch it after you're used to him throughout the rest of the
Yeah.
series. Maybe it's I just didn't pick up on those things, but I could see why you wouldn't watch the first season again because it just lays so much lower foundation that
Yeah, and compared to the rest of it, I think it's pretty basic. It's a pretty basic, intro mob story. But season 2's got probably my favorite episode. If I'm feeling the itch for The Sopranos, there's only a couple episodes that I'll go and like pick out of a hat to watch. And Funhouse, the final episode of season 2, is so good.
that was a cool episode.
And the way that it's just all set up is just so cool. Because it's super trippy, right? Like he's like, Tony's got like a stomach virus or something, and it's making him like crazy. It's just such a good episode and feels so different from everything up into that point.
There's that one is really good, and then the one where what's going on? Oh, where he's trying to decide like if he like works at the desk, like at the trash can place, but the way it ends is just so cool because he goes right back to like what he's comfortable doing.
Yeah.
And he was talking with the shrink and going back and forth and trying to make it work, but that was cool.
And how far did you say you were into season 3?
4 or 5 episodes.
Okay. Yeah. So season 3's also got one of my favorite episodes, Pine Barrens. It's later in the season. You'll get to it eventually. But when you get to it, I can't wait to talk because I think it's a super fun episode. Yeah, I just can't wait to talk about it. I hope we do a full freaking breakdown or, a full episode on when you finish it because
I might
so much
it
I have
pretty
to say.
soon at this rate.
Yeah. And I honestly would love to maybe do the episode directly after you watch the finale.
Yeah.
Like
Mixed
watch
reaction.
the finale. Yeah. Get right into it afterwards.
I mean, we can probably easily plan that come when I get to season 6, right?
Yeah. So season 6 is like split into 2 parts. So it's
more episodes or 13.
It's 21 episodes together for part 1 and part 2.
Okay. Oh wow.
So yeah. So it's literally
it's almost
like
full.
Part 2 is almost it's almost a full another season.
They're normally 13 episode seasons. So to have a 10 and 11 episode season, like that's 7 seasons long. Good lord.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they came out. I think they came out like
why didn't they just
relatively
make it
quick?
Season 7.
Right?
I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know because when you watch it, there's not a reason.
Game of Thrones did the opposite. They split.
Right.
They split what should have been 1 season in half. So they went the other way. So Sopranos are like, just make it one really big season, and Game of Thrones is like, no, let's make it 2 more seasons. 5 and 6 episodes, something like that.
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, I think it's
It was 13 total
5?
for 13
it's-
total for
yeah.
the last 2 seasons.
I think it was 7 and 5 episodes, if I remember
Oh
correctly.
yeah.
But yeah, dude, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot coming up. I think season 4 is
I'm
probably
hooked
my
for
favorite.
sure.
Yeah, season 6, both parts of season 6 are really good. I enjoy part 2 far better probably than part 1, and there's a reason for that. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it because how are you liking the characters though?
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah,
Polly's obviously cool, but then I forget his name, but the one under Polly, but the main one of the main 3. that
Christopher.
Tony.
The
No, not
younger one?
Christopher. The other older one.
Oh, Sylvia.
The one that. Yeah,
yeah,
he's cool.
Sylvia's above. Yeah, Sylvia's below Tony. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like right with Polly, he's always wrong with Polly and doing stuff.
So he's like a Bruce Springsteen like guitarist,
Yeah.
E Street Band guitarist. Plays Sylvia, literally probably one of my favorite characters on the show. He's just so good. Every scene that he's in is just on point. And then Paulie has the benefit of having an actor that actually grew up in this life, like lived this life.
Yeah.
Through and through, like grew up in the 70s and the craziest time, mob time through New York City. So he brings that to the table, and I think he's a great actor too. But yeah, they're all so good. And the cool thing about The Sopranos is you get a lot. Obviously, it's a show, so you get far more depth to everything.
Mhm.
So like they kill some dude. Well, next season you're going to see like how the family is dealing with losing the husband or the dad or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of depth there, and you don't get that in most mom movies. Usually it's the dead dude in the back of the car. You don't know who he is, but he's dead, right?
Yeah. Well, they do a lot of exposition in the show, but they don't do it in a linear fashion because the way they theme all the episodes, things that happened in like one episode aren't going to necessarily matter for the next episode, but they might matter in a few episodes, and they'll matter again. Like you said, they'll be dealing with the family dying like halfway through the next season.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's super layered writing, but it's also not linear, which I like, and kind of doesn't make it's like it's a weird. It's a mob sitcom. It's like
yeah.
It's weird.
It's literally if I was to frame it for somebody, it's literally a mob boss goes to the psychiatrist. That's like that's the plot line for the
and
for
it's
the
the
show,
90s
you know what I mean?
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's so good, man. And I'm excited that you're finally watching it because that's like
You just
one of
have
the shows
to-
I've wanted you to watch.
Dude, basically what you guys have to do is when you guys get ear that I'm about to go on a trip, like a work trip or something, tell
Yeah.
me something that I just need to like break into by downloading 3 to 4 hours of it to my phone, and then I'll watch it on
Yeah.
the plane. Like that's how I got into this, because I was able to cruise right from 1 to 5 in like one plane ride. And then on the
Right.
other one back, I was on episode like 9.
Yeah.
So I nearly watched the whole first season in a matter
First
of,
season
like,
just on a plane ride. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I probably
I've tried
would have
3
picked
times
this.
to watch the show, and I could not get halfway through episode 1.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Episode 1's rough, bro. I think that's
Yeah.
basically my big hang up with the Sopranos first
It's
season.
long.
Is that first
and-
episode is long. It's weird. The acting is off. The accents are off. There's a lot of stuff that's
It's like
off.
a true
but
pilot.
it's a pilot. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
true pilot. And the
It's named
Shield
pilot.
What? Yeah, The Shield, which is the other show that I'd probably recommend that you go to after this, because it's basically The Sopranos but LA cops, like a gang unit of LA cops. It's got the same problem with the pilot, where like the police precinct that they're in is totally different in episode 2.
Budget
Not
set.
even remotely the same. It
Yeah,
still has the
this is
same
days
name,
of
but it looks
pilots.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
Do
sure.
they make a joke about it looking different? Because that's always my favorite when
No, but it
What
is
the
in
fuck
a
they do this place?
it is
Wow.
a it's like a satellite precinct that pops up, and it's in a old church, and there's a lot of jokes through the season of it being in an old church, because it's like in what would be it's a fake area of Los Angeles, but would probably be equivalent to like Compton area.
Mhm.
So it's like in a real rough neighborhood with a lot of real rough people, and the police precinct is in an old church. So but I can't think of anything that they said, but it's so noticeable.
Yeah.
It's so it's
I
like
think,
just sticks out.
Well, I think they did that in the MCU when Don Cheadle took over as Warhawk or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I forget
Machine.
what the heck's his name.
War Machine.
Rhodey, because we
Oh.
called him Scrody a lot during the Secret Invasion. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen that, by the way. Yeah, I always like it when they make little jokes of changes like that. Yeah. So Soprano, you're almost through season 3, you said?
No, I'm on episode 4, I think, or 5.
Plugging along though.
Yeah, and it's also nice because you can basically stop it anywhere because it's not really. They don't do a lot of like continuous segments to where like you can break it up in a lot of places because almost scene to scene is like a shifting like book, if you will.
It's like Game of Thrones, really. There's a lot of different stories and a lot of different areas they're touching on.
Yeah, because they'll show Arthur, who runs the restaurant, like they'll just have like a scene of him and his wife.
Yeah,
but whatever. They are not main characters at all, but lots of exposition on like everybody.
The best part of The Sopranos is it's not based off. It is based off of an actual family, a mafia family, a New Jersey family, I think called the DeCavalcanti or something like that family. And they actually picked them up on wiretaps talking about The Sopranos. Like, is that supposed to be about us?
That's
like they
funny.
literally, you can listen to it. They're talking about The Sopranos. Like, is this supposed to be us?
That's awesome.
When you're watching your favorite show and the revelation comes over, you're just like,
yeah,
hey, this is about me.
Yeah, this might be about me. Yeah, it's cool though because I really like the New Jersey thing because that adds a lot, especially in later seasons when New York becomes more involved. That adds a lot of tension. You know, this smaller Jersey family. So yeah, I can't wait to do an episode on it too because there's just there's so much I want to say right now. And I just don't want to spoil anything going forward.
I mean, no spoilers, but I mean, I thought they killed the one guy in the crew, like in season 1 or whatever, season 2. Season 2, yeah, I was like, no way, like, I was like, it's like we're going that way with this show, like Game of Thrones style. Like we're just gonna be, I mean, people die, but there's definitely you'll get a lot of that. You'll get majority of that through the later seasons, but you'll get big characters popping off left and right. It's like when they snuff out a snitch, you know?
Yeah, right. So and I like.
The boat scene.
The boat scene's so good, dude. It's so good.
But I like how then when you know the young one gets made, I've seen that just happened in season 3. I like how they make the joke when they arrive there, and the whole setup is like he was riding on one cheek the whole way here.
Yeah, because he's scared. To die. Yeah, it's I like Christopher's probably up there for one of my favorite characters too. There's just so many likable characters on the show that it's
Carmela.
hard.
She's badass.
Yeah, and it's hard to it's just hard to pick one. But Carmela's great. The only one that I can't stand, and I can't stand through the whole of the series, is AJ, Tony's son. He's just
I was wondering if he gets cooler.
No, he doesn't. He gets worse. He gets way worse.
No.
Yeah,
that's kind of a spoiler. I had hope for him.
And I don't want to hate on the kid too much because I don't know what he's doing now, but I just don't think the kid's a good actor through and through. I just don't. And that shines through all of the series, really. And unfortunately, there are big, heavy story beats that have to do with him. So, you know, that's the only one that like I could honestly fast forward every time he's on. Yeah, she gets better. She gets a little bit better.
She's up and down. I liked where she ended in like season 2. I liked her in season 2, and also like when they go look at the college.
That's such a good episode too.
That's
I forgot about that
episode.
Yes,
and he finds the
dude
informant dude.
Yeah,
too good. But I liked her like at the beginning, but in season 3, I'm not liking like what she's got going on.
Yeah. She goes up and down. You're right. AJ just goes down. Really,
he's just flatline.
He's just flatline through the whole thing. There are some I think important stories with him in the series, but they're just not delivered right because he just kind of sucks at acting. If I'm being honest.
That's why.
And
That's
I
why
think that
Tony-
probably shows because he's not doing. I literally just saw him on a commercial. I think it was the Super Bowl this year with Meadow, like a Sopranos commercial for like a for Lincoln or something, Mercedes or something.
Crazy.
I'm like, okay, well, we're still that tells me everything I need to know about this kid. He didn't go anywhere further than Sopranos if he's doing a commercial about it, 15 years later.
That's why Tony, his lines are so convincing when he talks to his son because he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Literally like the actor, like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
That might be the case.
Yeah.
It's good.
Another one. Okay. Season 3, episode 1 is the FBI episode where they're trying to get into the house.
Yeah, with the wire.
That episode,
awesome.
Probably top 5 for me.
Oh yeah,
the entire show, so good, dude. Just the way everything's moving, and they're like trying to figure out what time they all leave the house, and then the hot water tank bursts, and they all come rushing back to the house, and they got to get out. It's so good, dude.
I just
and
like
it's cool
when the
seeing
one
that side.
like, the nicknames they have, the code names they have for him, but then it's like. They made me like because they just drove by and they flip them off.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is like, we have to bring up Mr. Robot. So
yeah,
usually Mr. Robot. I mean, no, that's not true. Maybe in later seasons, but they did save their it's when you use your big episodes, like your really unique episode concepts. It was really cool that they started season 3 off like that.
Oh yeah.
Because season 2 has obviously a better ending than like season 1, and then you just come swinging and like you don't have a slow start to season 3. Like it starts off with that episode, and it's just so conceptually cool.
It is. That's what I think. That's where I think Sopranos shines. Whether it's Funhouse or Mr. Rogerio's Neighborhood, I think is that episode, season 3, episode 1. It's just the way not every episode's the exact same.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi.
And the different spin, and it's cool to see the FBI side of things because really you're kind of detached from the Sopranos at that point. They're like background characters as they're moving, and you're kind of following the and all the crazy stuff that goes on during that episode.
Season 2, you started getting some scenes like when he gets the gift basket delivered to the chief, like the main FBI guy.
Yeah.
And then the one that's working, what's his name? No spoilers. But no, yeah, that's all good. And that's what I mean. Like those far off characters, like they just give you, it's kind of, it's Game of Thrones style. That's very true.
Yeah.
Obviously they're not spending like 20 minutes like on their scene like Game of Thrones would. It's literally like a 2 to 4 minute scene.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like even looking at that, like season 3 is very strong, dude. Like even looking at the episode, because a couple of the episodes I named are in season 3. But then again, 4 is really good. 4 is probably my favorite out of all of them, I think.
Well, now that I know there's 7, I have a different outlook on like where I'm at in the season. Here, at first I thought there was 5 seasons. I'm like, oh, I'm almost halfway, or I was halfway, and I'm like, dang it, I'm not. And then you drop 2, I get bonus season in there. I'm like, okay, it's just getting going.
Yeah, so I had picked this up when I was like
2,
Grand Theft Auto 3 era was around
What?
there. I was looking for like a mafia show, and it kept popping up like The Sopranos. I'm like, this sounds like a fucking musical. I don't want to watch The Sopranos. And I just kept ignoring it. Like, that sounds stupid.
Was it still airing when you started?
Oh yeah, it was like season maybe 4 was airing, and I picked up season 3 first, and that might be why I'm so tied to that first episode because that's the first episode of the series I ever watched. And then eventually went back, obviously, and watched the first 2 seasons. But yeah, I picked it up I think when the first episode of season 5 when it was airing, and then watched it every Sunday night with my family from there on out. So it was one of those weekly shows for me that don't happen very often to me anymore.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's kind of how I came into Game of Thrones. It was like midway. I think season 3 is when I started watching Game of Thrones. Maybe season 2. Maybe season 3.
I think I was way later. I think I was like season 5 on Game of Thrones. Yeah, I was way late.
Yeah, I think they're going to the Eyrie. Well, yeah. who knows? This isn't about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all read it, but I posted it right away in Discord. But the Red Barn outside the psychiatrist's office, like I was like, no way. Like it's the same setup, everything. And the barn's obviously different, but like it's a red barn like out in the country. And I was like, dude, there's no way. And I go to Reddit and like, yeah, it is a thing. I thought that was so wild.
Super cool. Must have been a fan of The Sopranos for sure.
I mean, the interesting episode concepts, like episode to episode, have definitely
a lot of inspiration, you think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Love to see that for sure.
And the other thing about The Sopranos is that like people are still talking about it because of the way it ended, right? Or years, decades past when that last episode aired, and they're still talking about it. There's still news articles coming out, people trying to figure it out. The director, writers coming out not answering anything because people are still talking about his show that he made, decades ago.
Oh, I didn't know anyone hasn't figured it out.
It's figured it. Oh. There are a lot of people that think they figured out a different option. I'll tell you the exact scenario. I know exactly what happened. Confident. I'm through and through confident.
Is it still theoretical, or are you like hard fact evidence?
Oh, I'll give you hard facts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He actually interrogated the writer.
I'll be honest, watching that episode first, like live, had no freaking clue what happened at all. But going back and watching that season again, it's all there. If you're watching, it's all every
is
little
it
hint.
A Daenerys situation?
No, nope, not a Daenerys situation.
Well, not a direct situation, but in the situation that like people didn't get it. You know what I mean? Like people didn't get why.
I don't want to spoil it because I want you to watch it. We'll talk about it. Yeah,
sure.
We'll talk about it on the episode. It's hard to explain because there's literally never been a show that's ever done anything like it, including Game of Thrones. Damn. And maybe up until this point, somebody else has done it, a show that I haven't seen.
It sucks.
But it was like a hot freaking take back in the day, to the point where I had called Q92 to explain the ending to him like a week later when they were talking about it. Like, let me just
at DeLuca in the morning.
I don't know what it was like in the afternoon because I was actually on lunch break at Fred Martin Dodge when I called him.
Shout out, yeah. That's hilarious.
I should watch it.
I won Amberlin.
I kind of want to watch it now.
And Amberlin
guys
played
are
with Circus
talking it up.
Survive. I won tickets from Q92. Only time I ever won anything from the radio. Yeah. So, Chad, you want to go next? We'll go clockwise tonight.
Sure. I will go next. I want to start with a new mini series called Blackbird that I have finished.
The blind.
I think it's an Apple TV exclusive.
It is.
Yes,
it is.
You have Apple TV?
I do now because I watched this pilot and I was like, yeah.
What's
Sign
the
me
guy's
up.
name? Taryn something or other.
A sub-selling show. That's crazy.
What guy's name?
The
main character.
Oh yeah, Taron Egerton.
Yeah,
that's
love
right.
that guy.
Yeah. So
enough
he
to remember his
plays
name though.
He plays like a
awesome.
high rolling drug dealer that gets busted and sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Naturally.
And in order to lower his prison sentence, he is sent to a high security prison to try to get a suspected serial killer to confess. This is a true story too. The name of the serial killer is Larry Hall. Supposedly, I think they only could confirm that he killed 2 people, but he suspected that he killed 35. So it's about that exactly. It's a prison show about him trying to get information out of this guy. And this, I think, happened maybe in the 90s, 60s. I don't really know what time frame this is. I don't know if they ever explained, or maybe I just missed it. I had to look up the actual thing, but
Sir Killers.
It's really good. So they have the dude in prison, but they don't really have any evidence to show that he's done anything. So they're trying to get this guy to get the location of a specific body from a specific crime. And
Does
they're
he have,
confident
like, skills in this territory, like prying information,
Are there
he's
what?
just like, why'd they pick this guy outside of like giving him like?
He's a very charismatic dude.
okay.
I guess is
Gotcha.
the best way to put it.
Yeah.
he
Wasn't like
had-
at random. that you,
No,
like-
it was
yeah.
no, it wasn't at random. I think there were a couple people there they were deciding on, and they ended up going with this guy. And yeah, dude, it's really good. I thought it was, when I first started watching, I was like, okay, it sounds interesting, but I don't know if I'm gonna get hooked. And I got hooked pretty quickly. I'm not gonna lie. It's a short series, only like 6 episodes, I think.
Oh, that's cool. Hour.
And I don't know
long?
if they're full. I don't know if they're full hour. I don't think they're even full hour episodes.
I honestly was about to start this, but whenever I think our apps on the Roku TV just like auto update, and when they do, it like signs us out of the accounts of the
that's
apps.
That's
annoying.
annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our Apple TV is through my wife's like just Apple account, and she has like the thing where it email or texts her a 6-digit code, and every time I go to watch something, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and she's asleep, and I'm like, well, guess I'm not watching Apple TV tonight. But yeah, this has been on my radar for a while. I'm glad that you are watching it and liking it, and even more glad that you have Apple TV now, because there are
You
so
can
many
watch
good
Severance.
shows. You can watch Severance. You can watch Foundation, Invasion. But no, Apple's been seriously slamming out some high quality series over the last like year or so.
Big jelly.
Yeah, lots to explore there. So
But
Yeah.
you're gonna start with Severance.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of funny because
Dude, after
Really-
Ben Berman called it Scandinavian, I don't know.
really I should have started with Severance. Like that should have been the show that got me into Apple TV. I don't know why this show was specifically.
it's probably Larry Hall's beard.
I think the
You also
the
don't
Larry
wanna
Hall
watch it.
beard, yeah.
You didn't want to watch a loser in the March Madness bracket.
Right.
Like, winners only.
There you
Winners
go.
only. Yeah. So it does say running time 54 to 60 minutes. So maybe they were hours, but
It was so good you didn't notice.
yeah, I mean it's a great story, man. I think I don't know how accurate it is to the true story. But I think they did a really good job. I never actually obviously my previous podcast we dealt with serial killers and stuff a lot. I never even heard of this dude in my life. Which was interesting. But yeah, he's a real dude, and he does have a rockin' freaking little side. What do you even call it? It's like the sideburn
Chops.
stash.
He has
Chops.
like huge mutton chops that go up into
His nose.
a mustache, and then he has like the reverse goatee.
What's his
where
name?
Only his chin is shaved.
Yeah, yeah. Larry Hall.
I don't know if that's what his beard looked like in real life, but
It does.
in
If
the
you look the
show-
dude, if you
Oh,
look
yeah,
the dude
those
up,
are-
that's exactly it. Yeah.
Those are rowdy mutton chops. Look at those.
Did I do a good job describing that though?
I didn't realize they were that low riding. It's
Yeah.
I mean it's kind
So-
of like a beard. You just you just shave your goatee off. Actually,
Yeah. Essentially, it's a beard minus the goatee.
minus the white area on yours.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's a beard without the goatee. But the side of the beard, I don't know. There's something going on there that's just not normal beard. It's just not like groomed. Maybe
That's
It's
just what
much
happens when
puffier.
you don't groom it and you just let it like just keep going.
Yeah,
But you trim it like in such a way.
yeah. So the
To give it-
reason he actually, and you can see it on the Wikipedia, it's like the second sentence. He was like a big
Dude,
Civil War,
He's
American
nasty looking.
Revolution, like reenactor. So that's why
Mm.
he has that
Oh, that
crazy
makes
beard.
sense.
Yeah.
But still, it's not like everyone had those. You could choose not to be that way.
Right.
Yeah, he also chose to kill a lot of people. So I'm
He's a
sure
weird dude. Yeah, there's
probably
it's-
something going on up there.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm sure there's maybe,
2 confirmed, 35 suspected. Whoo.
Wow.
and I'm trying to look up. So he was born in the 60s. So this probably happened in like the 80s. Yeah. 1982 was the first victim, alleged victim.
Oh man, he's a.
but-
oh my goodness.
He's in the show. He will give you like chills. Like he's just super creepy. And a lot of the stuff he says now, granted, like I said, I don't know how accurate any of this is, but he just says some really dark and twisted crap on the show with like just the most plain face possible. You know what I mean?
Oh, geez. It kind of reminds me of shoot, Larry Kemper. Is that his name from Mindhunter?
Yes,
Ed
I was just
Kemper.
thinking
Ed
that. Yeah.
Kemper.
Yep.
He
He
was
was a
dude who
creepy
played
dude.
that in that dude in Mindhunter sounds very similar, where he just would just flat out say like some of the absolutely detestable things he's done, just straight laced as I'm talking to you right now, and I'm just like, what?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm reading like this little bit on Wikipedia about it. It's basically what Chad said, but it's actually now reading it, I'm like, it's kind of crazy. It's like, hey, it's to completely get rid of your sentence, but you have to go to this bigger prison, befriend a serial killer, and get him to tell you the locations of bodies.
Yeah.
Like that's in tight, which
Mission
is super
Impossible.
worrisome.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think they play it up really well because the
Yeah.
other thing about this guy, and I don't know if this is a true part, this drug dealer's dad is a cop. So, and played by Ray Liotta, actually.
Rest in
And
peace.
his last performance, I believe, as well,
Shut up.
before he
What?
passed away.
No.
But his dad's a cop, and if that gets out in the prison, obviously, there's going to be
not
issues.
in a great place.
You're not in a great place. No matter how much of a good drug dealer you are, you still have a cop for a dad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really good. I think you guys should check it out. Well worth the 6 episodes.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. We'll have to add that to the
Have-
list.
Episode $1 an episode for 1 month. You know, just
There you go.
buy
Exactly.
1 month and get out.
I mean, honestly, that wouldn't be a terrible thing.
You could watch
for
a
your
lot.
next work trip, Nick. Subscribe to Apple TV and just
There
slam
you
through all the
go.
shows in a month.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not a bad idea.
yeah. Hey, I actually logged into the Apple TV app today while I was making dinner. Didn't watch anything, but I'm logged in. So when I want to watch something, I
I'm
don't have to
ready.
worry about asking my wife about the 6-digit code that gets sent to her phone.
Wake up.
Sounds
me
like
the
I'm
code.
like like grounded or something. I gotta
Oh my gosh.
ask permission.
Can I have the password, please?
Yeah. Well, hey,
So-
since we're talking about, sorry, go ahead, Dad.
Aw,
Go ahead.
what
Sorry.
a-
Keep freaking cutting me off. So fun fact, you don't cut off your dad. Just so you know. Just so
Boy,
we're all clear here, boys.
I like your bow in your hair.
Chloe made that for me.
Yeah.
So the last movie the last thing that Ray Liotta did was Cocaine Bear.
The classic.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Whoa.
So this
I
was
good.
filmed before it obviously came
Pretty
out
good
after.
one to go out.
now there's-
with, I guess
Cocaine Shark, right?
there is.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
is that really a thing?
Is
I
that
don't know if
thing?
it's a movie, but I think there's those articles going around now. All the things that are like coked out. Now apparently there's
I-
more.
I got to be honest. I kind of really enjoyed Cocaine Bear. If I'm being,
Oh,
if
I'm
being
sure
completely
it's
honest.
I'm
It
sure it's a
was-
fun movie.
It was
It's
wild.
great. Yeah, it's great.
Freaking bear on cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a really funny documentary on Netflix. I wonder if it's still on there, but it's called Cocaine Island, and it essentially is the story of some construction worker somehow like stumbled upon duffel bags of cocaine on that washed up on shore on an island, and he like no, he didn't stumble. Something wild happened essentially that some like bumpkin middle-aged like overweight white dude who like was not a drug dealer was transporting cocaine and like buried it on this island. And like it's such a stupid story full of like idiocracy, but it's hilarious.
Good
And
movie.
then apparently Will Smith was trying to like adapt it into like a movie, but I haven't heard anything since. But if you can find Cocaine Island on Netflix, it's a really interesting documentary to watch.
Yeah. There was a really good I think it was a series of documentaries called Cocaine Cowboys. First one's really good. I haven't seen the other ones, but the first one's phenomenal. Absolutely
okay.
phenomenal.
I checked. It's the Netflix one is The Legend of Cocaine Island. But if you search Cocaine Island, you would have popped up. But yeah, it came out in 2019. Interesting stuff. Anyways, since we're talking about watching stuff, I have been watching like 2-ish things. I'll just knock them both out now because one, not much to talk about. The other one, I'd like to talk about a little bit. But continuing on the ESPN 30 for 30 train, one night was flipping through there and saw a documentary called Long Gone Summer, which was interesting to me, being a baseball fan. Well, I would say a former baseball fan. I used to be really obsessed with baseball. But this 30 for 30 took you along the journey of the epic Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa battle for the home run title back in the late 90s. And it was super fun. Not saying this because Mr. Berman was on our podcast, but like in terms of like documentary quality, doesn't even match up to American Gladiator. But
Of course.
in terms of content, it was a blast to watch because like it took me down memory lane. Like I remember following that, and like my brother and I would play wiffle ball in our side yard all the time, and we would like one of us would try to bat like Mark McGwire, one would try to bat like Sammy Sosa. So it was really cool to watch that and follow along with that. Also very disturbing how white Sammy Sosa is. Like it's insane. He literally is the complexion of Nick now.
Really?
Yeah, Google it.
Interesting.
He's been bleaching his skin for years.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Please Google it. I am not making this up.
Wow.
Oh, you're right. Holy crap.
Yeah. But that was a fun watch. So if you're a sports fan, I know the sports demographic doesn't usually intersect much with our demographic, but if you are a sports fan, you enjoy baseball and you have ESPN Plus, go check out Long Gone Summer. That was fun. Yeah, he's so white, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
This is so funny. This is so funny that you're bringing this up because of another show that I'm going to talk about that I watched, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
We'll get to it. It's so funny you're bringing this up.
The main thing I want to talk about, though, which I've been like blasting this through our Discord DM with the four of us, but I stumbled on a YouTube channel. Sorry, I have like a burp. Like it was just like it wouldn't like come out. But anyways, I somehow discovered this YouTube channel thanks to the algorithm. Somehow I don't know how this popped up, but this channel, this guy named Peter Santinello, he just kind of like travels around the world, but mainly he's focused in the US lately. Finds like interesting communities or regions that maybe are misunderstood or people don't know much about.
Just the coal miner.
Yeah. So he goes and finds locals in these areas and just like hangs out with them and asks them like what their life is like. And I stumbled on this channel in the middle of a series he's doing in Deep Appalachia, which is not really our area, but very close, like our neighbor kind of. He went through some really like poor old coal mining counties in West Virginia and Kentucky, and it was just like so fascinating listening to the people that live there, like learning about their lifestyle, learning the history of like the old coal mining days. And because like I work in oil and gas, but sometimes I have to deal with coal-ish stuff in my work. So it was interesting to like learn about it kind of from people who still work in it, because it is still an industry down there today. But like one of the things I thought was absolutely nuts, like way back in the day, the coal companies would pay their miners in their own currency that they could only use at the store in the town that was owned by the coal company.
Wow.
So they would pay them
That's-
these things called scripts, and they were like coins that had like a stamp or a
I would
hole
call them
punched out of it.
credits. It's just credits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
essentially,
credits.
Republic
Yeah.
credits.
dude. Essentially, slave labor back in the
Yeah.
day, because like
Yeah.
they would pay them in money they could only use at the store that the coal company owned.
That they
so
own.
like they couldn't
Right.
leave the town and spend their money that they made working.
Yeah,
so-
but
Wow.
I mean, from like
Insane.
a cost standpoint, like think of how much crap you can eliminate from your business if you don't have to pay your employees in
Yeah.
fiat, and you don't have to in your store
Yeah.
in your town, you don't have to handle transactions and taxes. Like
Right.
that's insane. They just eliminate a massive chunk of like overhead costs by like,
Yeah.
you know what?
yeah,
we're gonna
I think
sell you
that's how it
stuff.
works.
But we're just gonna buy it and just give it to you. So really, they're
Yeah.
paying them in like
Yeah,
bottled
Food.
water and like
But like,
pop and
yeah.
food.
people couldn't like
Oh
go
my
on
God.
vacation or anything, like really leave
Wow.
the town.
That kind of makes
Um,
it seem more like slavery because they just like pay them and not. It's more like a barter system. Like, hey, we'll give you like housing and food.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stick around and work for us forever.
yeah. Yeah, it was really wild. And then like going down into Kentucky, still some like coal mining stuff. But one of the big things I took away from that series, it's still in progress too. He's not quite finished with it yet. But some of those areas in like deep Appalachia and West Virginia and Kentucky, stunningly beautiful. Like the like rolling hills and valleys, like it's just wild. He has a really, really cool series where he went up to Alaska. He like went into like the poorest hood of like Anchorage or whatever, and that was wild. He got permission to go on a private native owned island off the coast of Alaska. I forget what it's called, but it's like, it's actually, when you're looking on a map, like portions of the island
Off
Are-
the coast of Canada.
off Alaska, but like portions of the island are actually west of Russia.
Oh,
Like
out
that's
there.
kind of like how far out it's like between Russia and Alaska.
They're not far from Japan at that point.
Yeah. But like it's a super remote island in the middle of the Arctic basically. And like they still do like a whale hunt every year and like kill a whale or two, and it like feeds their village for like a year, and like all this. It's crazy. Like some of the stuff that some of the ways people live in some of these communities of people and lifestyles that you don't often think about or even know still exists today. It's just really cool to like learn about and just kind of get plopped into their world for
Yeah.
an hour or two at a time.
That's definitely cool. I got a little bit of that from. Have you guys ever seen the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia?
No.
That
Okay,
sounds
so
funny.
it's a.
I don't know if they're talking about people or like water or
Yeah. So the family name is White.
Oh,
Okay. And it's like this. I don't even know how to freaking explain it, dude. There's just this family of crazy maniacs in West Virginia. So my opinion of West Virginia is really based off of that because I've been there in passing, like going to the beach. That's the only time I've ever been to West Virginia.
Yeah. Same.
So, like the characters you would encounter in a Rockstar game,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
Hills people in
Yeah.
Red Dead, or like the
Yes.
Hillbillies in
The
Grand Theft
Hillbillies
Auto.
and Redhead. Yeah, that's it. That's the best way to put it. But it's a Dick House Productions, the people that make Jackass. They made this movie about them. It's well worth the watch. It's just like 80 minutes long, probably. It's not super long, but just You want to talk about a lifestyle change? That's about as far removed from me as humanly possible.
Oh my gosh. He has like a series on Hasidic Jews. He has a series on the Chicanos.
Japanese? Anything? Japan?
No.
Dude, he should do
he's-
one on like the nomadic Mongolians that still live in Mongolia because
dude.
whenever
would be
that
rowdy.
is so cool when you're talking about that island of natives that still do like whale hunting and stuff, like when there's like anything on like Mongolia, they live wild out there. It's crazy, dude. Like like obviously people live like that in a lot of places, but they're just so far removed in like the middle of that big ass continent. Like
Mhm.
there just ain't nothing out there. And
Yeah.
like that whole part of Russia too. Like there's people that live all the way out there. It's just nuts.
Yeah. He has a whole series on Las Vegas, which Chad would probably like. A series on cowboys and ranchers in like Texas and Montana. A cool series on Amish people where he came to Holmes County.
That is
God.
not a
Wow.
sentence I ever thought that I'd hear, but cool
Um,
anything.
Yeah, he's got a playlist on like some various hoods or through the country, Pakistan, India, Saudi Arabia, Ukraine. He lived in Ukraine for a while when he like started his channel, so he's got like a lot of videos in Ukraine. But yeah, super interesting YouTube channel. Again, no idea how it popped up in the algorithm, but I'm glad it did because it's been fascinating.
Well, there's
Um,
first that how it got in your algorithm, then what
Yeah.
made you click
On it.
on it.
That algorithm works.
Well,
It worked.
the algorithm
it's
really
doing its
does work.
job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it would work for our podcast, but that's another story. No, I mean, I talk about it all the time. This monitor right here in my workstation just has
That's
YouTube
dad.
playing
That-
all day long.
That's
So
I'm not a monitor, Mike.
eventually by like hour 5 or 6 of work, I'm like, I literally
I
have
quit.
no idea what to put on YouTube right now. And I just saw Deep Appalachia and I was like, that's close. And I clicked on it and I was like, holy cow, this is so
close.
interesting.
That's why he hasn't seen
Um,
the Mongolian one because
Yeah,
it's
not close
He's
enough.
like, that's
close.
not close.
That's a little too far away from me. But yeah, I enjoy it and I recommend it if anyone ever gets bored and they're looking for something to watch on YouTube. Go check out Peter Santinello. I'm gonna try to reach
they have
out
the
and see
same
if we can
job
get
as
him
you.
on the podcast, but yeah, I don't know.
Mike's job where he's able to watch 8 hours of YouTube a day.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. It is nice. I enjoy it.
It is nice. I enjoy
The
it.
perks.
Do they have are there stats on like our YouTube profiles, like how many hours watched?
Oh
and
gosh, dude, I don't even want to know. Like,
I'm gonna go
and
look.
the great thing is, it's my entire YouTube history is through my work Gmail account. So like,
Oh man, really?
yeah, it's all.
I guess
it's
I
in
did
my
use-
work account.
I used to do that too. So like I had different I would use them for different purposes because I had like one algorithm going on my work account, like just like interesting stuff I would watch at work versus what normally would come up at home, like using music and stuff like that. But work always had an interesting one.
Yeah,
Rip that algorithm.
rest in peace.
Rest in
But
peace,
yeah.
Barry.
So, Dad, you're up, my dude.
So I did my second watch of Severance, which was even better than the first time, really. I mean, it's cool because it's one of those shows that like there's just so much happening, right? And you watch it a second time and you catch up, you pick up on the subtle clues that they throw in there that kind of like point you to the end. It's just so good. Like from the camera work, the actors are great. It's just, yeah, I can't recommend it enough, honestly. So Chad, that will be your next show that you watch. uh,
I'll be honest, dude. So I'm like a huge fan of Black Mirror, and that show just feels like
yeah,
a
I mean,
Black Mirror episode.
it is a little slow in the beginning, but I mean, there's just enough like feeling of dread that you're like, I should probably keep watching this because I really want to know what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's just like a perfect blend of genres, and I cannot wait for season 2.
Oh, they're doing a season 2. Nice.
They are,
know that.
and I don't know how the writer's strike affected them, but the last I heard, it was February that they were going to release. So I really hope that happens because I'm really itching for season 2, because the way that they left us at the end was like a kick to the crotch. Like, and you're like, it was like, I would say probably one of, if not my favorite season 1 finale of a show.
Really interesting,
dude. It like there's because they follow four different main characters, and you get to know them obviously throughout the season. They're innie and they're outie. That's what they call them. And like there's just one part of the dude. I don't know why I want to call him Michael Scott. It's not Michael Scott. What's his name, Mike?
The main dude?
The main dude. You're muted.
You're muted.
Of course. I was clearing my throat. Always forget. I believe the actor's name is Adam Scott and his character's name is Mark.
Mark S. Okay, that's right. There's a point that something gets revealed to the audience and not him. And you're like,
I love that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, this needs to be resolved like right now. And like, I'm getting chills, man. Like the way that they end his moment, like I just jumped. Like I'm like, oh my gosh.
So I gotta watch Severance and Blackbird in my 1 month trial of
and Foundation.
And Foundation. That was the first thing I wanted to watch off of there.
Super, super good. I would say that I got Apple TV because of Severance, but I didn't. But I was hoping that I would discover more shows because Severance was so good.
And now you're just rewatching Severance.
And yeah. But I mean, there's another show I'm watching too. I could probably just get that out of the way now. It's called Invasion, which is another Apple TV show.
I've heard of this.
It's very, very slow. It's like the kind of slow burn. I don't know where I'm going with it, but it's the type of slow burn that you just don't want to watch it anymore.
The shitty slow burn.
No, it's
like when you think of sci-fi and aliens, you're like, oh, dude, boom, right off the rip, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah,
and it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts, but it's not in the way that you want it to be.
Yeah.
They follow 5 different people.
Yeah.
Like as stuff's starting to happen. And I'm not that real far into it, like probably like episode 3 or 4. But I hear that like the middle of the season is when you get like the first look of the alien or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What everyone's running from.
The Expanse now.
Exactly. Like that. When I think of sci-fi, I think The Expanse. Like they did it right. They did it so well.
Yeah, different type of show though.
It is. Well, because it's more of a drama.
Yeah.
With a splash of sci-fi. And
yeah, one's a space
no
drama.
Space Mormons, no good.
Yeah. One's,
no good.
I like this because it's I loved the first season of Fear the Walking Dead. Why?
Oh, yeah.
Because it shows you an aspect of a genre that you don't usually spend a lot of time on, and that's the
Sure.
beginning of the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
And then the show went downhill quickly
Very quickly.
after that. But
Yeah,
that first season was amazing because
So good.
you're watching
really good.
the chaos unfold, and that's what Invasion is for the alien, like Independence Day type like genre of movie or show. This is a series, of course. It is a slow burn, like Jeff said, but I loved watching it because, like, also like Jeff said, you're seeing this from 5 unique perspectives.
Yeah, from all over the world.
Across the world. So it's not even like 5 people in New York or whatever. It's 5 completely different characters covering the entire globe, all in the midst of the same chaotic event that's happening. I enjoyed it, and there's a second season coming
23rd
very soon. Yeah.
So like I can appreciate what you're saying with the characters,
but you're wrong.
And
yeah, but you're stupid.
But you're wrong because it's
That's what Chad said to me
like,
about season 1 of Sopranos.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. Like I don't think, not to knock the writing or the acting.
They just want better wages, man. Be nice.
Yeah. Wow, dude.
Well, don't suck.
Oh man.
If
I'm
Jeff was
kidding.
in control, he'd be pulling that mining company style.
I'm just gonna pay you in movies.
I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna pay you in pens.
Pens.
To work.
You get 100 free copies.
Pens and paper.
So the more you talk about Invasion, the more it piques my interest. And I hate to say this to you, even though you're bad mouthing it, it might pique my interest a little bit more at the current moment than Severance. Just because I think that this is maybe like potentially 2 years away, this actual story folding out.
It's very topical.
It's very topical.
In the foot there, Dad. Now he wants to watch this and not Severance.
But you're not gonna see any freaking aliens for a while.
I mean, I'm not seeing them now, but they're here.
You haven't
They're here.
finished it yet?
Go watch Secret Invasion.
No,
don't watch
No.
Has anyone here seen the movie Arrival?
I have. Yeah.
That's a pretty great movie if you're looking
like
for
that movie.
An alien invasion movie.
Very good. Very good.
Enjoyed
I
that
agree.
one.
I
I mean, I'd say
probably-
give it a shot. You got Apple TV, might as well.
Yeah.
I'll probably finish it.
How many episodes?
It's a good question. I don't know.
6.
Oh yeah, Arrival. That was decent.
But I will probably
Let
finish
me look
it.
that up for you.
There are parts that I like. I mean, don't get me wrong. They did the characters well, but they're trying to get you connected to the characters. Obviously, it's a drama. So, and the more you care about the characters, and then you see these aliens come and wreck the world, you're like, oh man, I want these characters to make it. You know, you actually care about them.
There's 10
yeah.
episodes.
But I
10
just,
episodes.
I want to see the freaking aliens. Like,
So
do stuff.
basically,
Yeah, but that's always something they save. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah,
Even in
like-
the movies.
And it's only season 1. I understand.
what's the one you like, Mike? That's part of the connected universe. You don't see the alien till like the really end, and you never see it. It's like the found footage one.
Oh, Cloverfield.
Yeah, Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
So good. Love that movie.
Such a
See,
great
that was
movie.
good. They didn't show the alien. They didn't even really show the alien. Period.
That is, that is tied. 3-way tied with me for the most times I've ever seen a movie in the theater. 7 times. I saw Cloverfield, I Am Legend,
Wow.
and Titanic.
overrated.
Curveball.
Titanic.
Little
That is a
curveball there at
huge-
the end.
That
Wait,
is a
in
huge-
theaters?
What?
That's an Adam Wainwright
Re-released.
curveball right there.
Now you gotta
Did you-
you gotta understand. I was very young when that movie came out. I was like
So,
10 or 11 years old, probably.
Right.
serious question.
And I don't. Okay.
So you just went for the sex scene.
I'll tell you here. I'll tell you the exact thing I went for. I was
Paint me
very
like a
obsessed.
French.
I was very obsessed with the Titanic at that time, and the movie came out like perfect timing.
Curveball.
The first half of that movie is a woman's movie. the second half of that movie is through and through a man's movie. There's people
Oh, yeah.
dying. There's people, flipping off of propellers. Shit's
Boobs.
going crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
boobs.
so basically,
It's
yeah,
just
the
a
boob
man's
scene
movie.
forward. You're like, yeah, let's go.
Man all the way.
Let's go.
Yep. Go ahead. Ask your serious question. I apologize.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
I
Did
don't
you-
know who was gonna ask a question. Who was it, Jeff?
That is, you cut him off
Okay.
again.
Sorry.
You.
Sorry.
That's it. You're suspended.
You can't be up there with him.
I'm grounded.
He's just screwing you because you're next to him.
You just wait till this
Well, we
episode's
call
over.
him monitor. I mean, he thinks
Yeah.
very not much of you. You're just a monitor over there. You're not even
I
a
was
producer.
pointing wow,
Right
this is
at Dad's head.
hard.
You were pointing at me. See,
right there.
Dude,
No, see this
That's a
rectangle that's
picture.
very
That's a
hard
picture.
to draw. There, yeah,
You're
'cause
failing.
I look like
You're
I'm having
failing.
a stroke.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think you're anywhere near it, but
Right here.
You know,
Right here.
you know what?
oh, okay, I see it.
The moment's lost.
I love
It's over.
Pokemon.
I want to know the question. I don't care about the moment. I want to know what the question was.
I just was gonna ask how many times you cried at the end.
Oh, never. Yeah, never.
Okay.
Oh my
All right.
gosh.
Yeah.
I will say my one big gripe with Invasion is the poor use of a certain character, and I will not go any further. I'll talk with Jeff. I'll talk with you outside of this because you've probably been past this part,
I'm sorry.
but I
What?
won't.
Does this
Gotta talk to you separately.
Yeah.
Would you?
I'll-
does this have Jurassic Park dude in it?
Yes.
yeah. What? Dr. Hugh Grant? Is that his
Yeah,
name? In Jurassic
Sam
Park?
Neill.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
got
to
a-
check this out, dude.
He's got a
sorry.
cool
It's-
story. Like
This is just gonna have to be the next one, probably.
Do it.
dang it.
Do it. Do it.
I knew
okay.
I should have talked about Invasion tonight.
So we're back down to you, Nick.
Me?
Yeah.
So I watched Sopranos season 2. That's how I should have done it. I watched Sopranos season 1. That was the first thing I watched. Then I watched Sopranos season 2. Actually, the third thing, Sopranos season 3.
Yeah.
I've been playing a little bit more Surviving Mars.
Nice.
Got the like green the expansion pack where you can terraform Mars to be
Nice.
livable outside, which is the best rated DLC for it. So I thought that was necessary. So I restarted a game with that in play, and yeah, there's just a lot of milestones and a lot to do to get and keep your colony there on Mars going. But once you get drones, it's on, because
Drones are sweet.
they'll deliver stuff everywhere and anywhere you have domes built. So before you had to connect your domes, and like people couldn't leave the dome to necessarily like go to different domes and stuff like that if it was too far. So now the shuttles just pick them up and take them where they need to go. So you can build and get people around a lot more easily. So
That
it's
probably
going
makes
good.
you. That probably also makes you want to watch The Expanse. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I just think of that Mars the whole time, and I'm like, I'm gonna do what they couldn't do.
Yeah.
Oh
dream.
man, I'm not gonna lie. There's been at least 3, maybe 4 or 5 times in the last couple months where I'm like, man, I kind of want to watch The Expanse.
Yeah.
Maybe even like at least the first season, because the first season's cool. But then I don't know, man. At
You
that
could.
point,
You
you're
wouldn't be able
hooked.
to. You wouldn't be able to stop.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to
Mm-mm.
stop. That's the
No way.
problem.
No way.
Yeah.
But man, that's when our boys in it. Jared, what's his last name?
Harris,
Jared
our
Harris.
favorite actor, we can literally can never remember his
This
He-
dude is
He's
in
top
everything.
5. Yeah, he's top 5 in everything actors for me.
Oh my gosh. We need, Dad,
Top
your
3
next
maybe.
assignment, dude, is to comb through our 152 episodes and make like a super clip
time.
of us
Of all
For
the names.
never remembering Jared Harris's name. That
A
would
highlight
be
reel. Yeah.
so funny. That would be so
got-
funny.
half this time. We did good during March Madness with
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Nick.
because he half the shows. Yeah.
That's true.
Did he kind of like disappear in The Expanse?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
became like a
kinda.
mega background character as they kind of
Yeah.
like pivoted through the mid of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think by the time they brought him back, he was just kind of like a cameo guy, and they were working on getting what's her name? I just think of Carmela right now from Sopranos.
Camilla.
Is it Camilla?
It's something like that. I know who you're
Carmilla?
talking about.
Watch, it's the same name. But yeah, she's badass.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
I'll look it up real quick because
I
I
need to
am
watch
sitting in
that
front of the
again.
computer.
Because I think they basically lost, probably not lost, like maybe lost his interest. Like he just became busy.
Mhm.
Because after the Prime takeover of it, because they technically canceled it. So I think when they technically canceled it, they weren't able to get everyone back because he kind of basically plays a cameo role in a few episodes, like in season 4 or 5 or something. So
Well,
I think
Kamina
the story
Drummer.
kind of shifts away from him,
that too, but that's because I think they probably couldn't get him back
right?
and stuff.
Because
in
he
a
was a
full-time
big deal
capacity.
early on.
Yeah. Yeah, he ran
Kamina
the
Drummer. Is that who you're thinking of?
Kamina. There
I
it
mean,
is.
yeah,
One of the main characters of the Telltale Expanse game.
dude, so excited.
So pumped.
Yes.
So we're talking about The
Also-
Expanse. Is that what we're talking about tonight?
Yeah.
Expanse
so
episode.
Now we're just going to talk about the Expanse. No. One last
Invasion
thing on
sounds good.
Jared Harris, and then we can move on to Chad if you're done with your pick here, Nick. But I suggested this show. I don't know if it was pre-Chad or post-Chad.
Is that
you
like
know,
the era of Showboys?
Yeah, the
It's
eras
beat-
of
it's beat.
Showboys.
PC.
PC and AC.
AC.
B-
I like
BC and
AC
AC.
more.
Um,
AC's on right now.
Jared Harris played a really interesting character in an anthology series on Hulu called The Terror.
Yeah.
The Terror,
Mm.
season 1. So good, like so good. So I don't know if you ever got around to watching that, Nick, or not. If you haven't, you should, because it's really, really,
I've seen that.
it's awesome. Chad and Dad.
I haven't seen the second season. Whatever that's
second
about.
season's all right. Chad probably would like the second season because it revolves around like Japanese folklore. So you probably would like that.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go.
But season one is really, really interesting. Jared Harris is really awesome in that.
What's the name of this?
The
The
Terror,
Terror. Based
The
on a
Terror.
book, but also based on like a real life
historical expedition,
story. Yeah.
like Britain or England. I know they get offended when you call them the other. But one of those English-speaking nations back in the day sent an expedition
Okay.
to try to discover a trade route through the Bering Strait or something up through the Arctic. And the
Like an
ships that they
icebreaker
sent,
ship.
yeah, they kind of got ice locked, and then the crew died because
Was
they were stranded out.
Was that
in the
on?
middle of the Arctic.
Hulu.
Was that on AMC?
It might have
Because I
been.
think I did see that.
FX. It's
Like
AMC or
super-
FX. One of those. Yeah.
Maybe. It sounds familiar now. I
AMC.
remember yeah.
That
Yeah.
stuff's good. It's a good
Yeah,
show.
It was good, dude. I watched
Top
it
notch
earlier.
Jared Harris right there with Chernobyl.
Top
That's
notch.
right. That's right. I'd put those 1 and 2. Chernobyl, The Terror.
Well, what about The Expanse?
He's not in it enough. He's great in The
Oh.
Expanse, but he's not in it enough.
His character is so cool. I mean, he's no
Yeah.
space Mormon, but
He was.
they came back in the best way possible in that series.
They really did. I am really excited about the Telltale game too. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be good.
Yeah.
Dude,
fun
I
stuff,
for
sweet.
for whatever reason, I don't know if I got popped over into a different dimension, but I could have swore Telltale went out of business. Like I thought they
Same.
closed. So,
So
I don't
did
know how the
I.
hell they're making a
Don't
game,
know
but
what happened with
Yeah,
that.
we need someone to look into that because I am right there with you, Chad. Because it was like right in the height of like The Walking Dead, Borderlands. They had like
Game of
that
Thrones,
that wolf something.
yeah, Wolf Among Us.
Yeah, and then they're just like, yeah, so we're just not gonna make games anymore. And then
Yeah.
randomly they're like, psych, here's The Expanse, like
Right.
15 years later.
So apparently they had to shut down because it ran out of money.
Well,
Rip. Good games, no money.
But how
Yeah.
did they come back?
That's an even better question. Yeah.
Someone.
So
somebody
went-
somebody
how many
went in there.
years?
those
they went
stimulus checks,
bankrupt.
bro.
They went bankrupt in 2018.
See, okay, so to me, that's enough years for someone who believed in the brand that they had built, right? And there was like, here's more money. Can you do it again? I
Mhm.
think it sounds like that kind of operation.
Yeah, I wonder about that because another company that I could have swore, even though
Feel
this
like-
is certainly not the case, that went out of business was Crocs. I could have swore they went bankrupt,
Like the
but they
shoes?
are
And
like
they
They
popping
make
in-
everything now.
Mhm,
and now they're
they're
like so freaking
everywhere.
popular. It's like everybody is
I
wearing
don't know
Crocs.
why.
I don't know why.
They're
either.
Yeah, but they don't
dumbest
just make
things.
Crocs. Like my wife has sandals, like normal.
Oh yeah,
wearing
they make
sandals,
they make
but
it. Yeah, there was a like we went to the outlets in Georgia, and there was a Croc outlet. I was like, I didn't even know there was enough shit you made that you could have an outlet. But
just the
Okay.
same shoe.
Guys,
it's just
not-
it literally
never
was just
again.
same shoe, different colors. But they do have a lot. They have like freaking high heels and like platform
they have
Crocs.
the
They're just-
cool like little
Steve
penny
Giblets or
things you
whatever,
can put
yeah.
in your Crocs.
yeah.
You guys want to hear like something absolutely adorable? My 2-year-old, I didn't let you answer that, so you're gonna hear it anyways. My 2-year-old has Crocs, and she calls them her crocodiles, and she's like, "Where are my crocodiles?"
I love it.
So cute. She's
Yeah,
so
I'll
cute.
be. I was a kind of a major hater of Crocs. I now own a pair of fuzzy Crocs, which I do enjoy quite a bit.
Fuzzy Crocs.
Let me just frame
Titanic.
this a little bit. Fuzzy
We're
Crocs.
learning so much
Let me-
about Chad tonight.
Let me.
So much has happened within the last hour and 20
I
minutes.
know. I
What's
know.
happening?
I know.
This needs to be a
Um,
short.
So let me frame this a little bit. Kirsten has
Please.
Back
like
it up,
Please.
those fuzzy bear claw slippers. I'm sure your
Uh-huh.
wives probably own them. And I used to always put those on and take the trash out. I was like, man, I kind of want like maybe something a little more manly. And I ended with the Crocs, the fuzzy Crocs, because they're the same shoe, but they're just not girl slippers. So that's where that came from. Anyway.
That's awesome. And that's also Mark
Wow.
for a short.
Well, here's your chance for redemption, Chad. Why don't you let us know what else you're watching or playing?
Yeah, so we'll go with my comment from earlier, because Mike was talking about black men that have randomly became white, and I am watching something similar to that. It's a HBO documentary called Leaving Neverland,
Oh,
and it's a
Is
that old or new?
two-part. It's came out in 2019, I think.
Okay, I think I might have heard this.
Two-parter, maybe like 3 hours total. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it is about Michael Jackson's allegations that he had on him and his victims on there talking. Very, very well put together. Dark, very disturbing. If you don't think Michael Jackson is creepy yet, watch this documentary and you'll get there.
Right.
I assure you. But yeah, it's just it's just two they're adults now, obviously. They're like in their 20s or 30s, but talking about their childhood with Michael Jackson. And the one kid like toured with him for an entire summer when all this was happening. And if you watch the documentary now, they frame this as like you can see it abundantly clear when you watch it. Like it's a wonder that nobody saw this going on when it was going on. And I don't know if they did. I don't really remember following the story too much when it was happening. But he's a creep, man. Like there's several videos that he makes for like this kid that he plays in the documentary, and it's just so creepy. But it's weird the way that he like slithered his way into these families. And you also have to remember that, and they say it in the documentary, like there's no big stars like him. There's no huge pop stars like that anymore. Like he was like as big as you get, right?
Yeah.
And he weaseled his way into several family, like just normal, everyday middle
like
class families.
Elvis, him, and then
Yeah.
that's kind of really
That's it. And you don't get that anymore. There's nobody
you
today
guys
that's
think Taylor
that big.
Swift is approaching that status?
Hmm?
I don't know, man.
I
Like,
would say I would like over Taylor Swift. I would probably say Drake has more. I mean, those two are both up there by quite a bit when it comes to like popularity.
yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, he had a
His
long
was
career.
global too.
Yeah, his was global too,
Also
and he had
global.
a long career. And that's the other thing. Like he's peak. right? Like, is he a national treasure or is he like literally the slimiest person that ever lived, right? So because he has like a full 20 years of Michael Jackson pop star and like a full 20 years of
Crazy
Creep.
Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know, man. If you can stomach stuff like this, I think it's well worth a watch. It gets dark and it gets vivid, and the stories they tell are very. I mean, it's a HBO documentary, so know that going into it. But yeah, there's just and even watching like some of the videos from when he's back, I don't think Taylor Swift like has people like passing out and crying and like
crying,
like hanging off of their cars. They're driving down the road and like the airport tarmac is totally full of people. I just don't see anything. Yeah, I don't see it. Now, granted, I'm not looking for that kind of stuff, so maybe it's happening and I just don't know about it. But I think the pop level of star that Michael Jackson had is unmatched, which makes this even more disturbing because of the way that he weasels his way. I mean, he basically.
Is it just them, or do they also like play off of his music and like his career, or like that's really not even talked about?
Yeah, it's definitely talked about. It's definitely, and that's where I'm getting. I mean, a lot of the videos they show to show how big of a star this dude was, and we knew that. I mean, we know everybody knows who Michael Jackson is. If you go to Japan and ask somebody, they know who Michael Jackson is.
Yeah, so. When it comes to even like Michael Jordan, I was saying music, but in terms of zeitgeist, entry level, name.
Yeah,
there's that
But basically, the two kids in this documentary were like little imitators of Michael Jackson at a young age, like 6 years old. They were doing his dances and won a couple competitions, and then eventually, different ways they find their way to Michael Jackson. And one kid goes on tour with them, and then it talks a lot about Neverland. Obviously, it's called Leaving Neverland. So everything around that, it's well worth the watch. I was a big fan of Michael Jackson when I was a kid. I think everybody was. Like I said, it goes back to like he was just burning so freaking hot in the 90s that, I mean, you could not.
I mean,
listen to his
people
music.
Still are like, that's the problem is people can't. It's hard to separate.
It's hard to separate.
Put them together.
Yeah. And it is hard to do that. And we talked about that a little bit on the Jakku episode, that he has a hard time doing that with Rurouni Kenshin because similar allegations were launched at the writer or whatever they call it, artist for that. But yeah, it's a good watch. It's a good watch. 2 episodes. But like I said, I just want to preface it. It gets dark. It gets very vivid.
Well, that's good. It's not like a Dahmer series.
No,
deal.
It's not.
That's cool.
No.
It's more like a Woodstock documentary where it's just like.
I mean, I have a plethora of Michael Jackson songs on my iPod. I thought about deleting all of them after I had watched this. And it's like I said, it just goes back to the way he weaseled into these like middle class families and like the one kid's mom was like taking care of him, like doing his laundry. He was like staying the night at the house, hanging out with them, going on walks at night with her. With us. Yeah. And she said, she's like, he like became a son, like another son for me. Like I was cooking for him, doing his laundry.
So weird.
It's so weird. Yeah, it's so weird the way that, and you can hear the mom when she's telling the story and some of the stuff that she's saying, knowing everything that you know about the story. You're like, how did you let your 12-year-old kid go and sleep in a hotel room with Michael Jackson? Why was that a normal reaction for when that topic came up? Like, it's like, even she's saying, she's like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's just like
I mean, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? But yeah, even like before you get, well, that's the thing. I mean, that's why it's kind of even more easy for him to take advantage of them, because what are you going to do? Like, it's literally, Michael Jackson, like just hanging out in your house. But also, like, not to say like once you are like rich and famous, you need to act a certain way or like you have a certain MO, but at some point what he was doing is not in any rich and popular person's MO, is like to just be hanging out with these families.
Like, and the way he frames it is
go be rich and like the most famous person and
Yeah.
go do that kind of stuff. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
And the way he like frames it to the families is that like he has like no friends. That's why he's hanging out with them. You know what I mean? But he's obviously
It's
got
not
a goal.
very nice way to frame it.
Right. Yeah,
the
it's
only
really
reason I'm
weird.
here, guys, because I literally have no friends.
Yeah, I literally have no friends. Yeah.
Sorry.
But it's weird because like I said, this is the 90s. So this is the burning real hot. There's no way Michael Jackson doesn't have friends. So how's that even a believable
Right.
scenario? You know what I mean?
Lying.
But it's just
Hey,
like
Super weird.
the one kid that he sends like a film crew to their house and like films them like in his bedroom. And they said it was like I don't know, dude. It's really, you should just check it out. I don't know. Yeah, I can't even explain it. It's like just so bizarre. It's such a bizarre story.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. So I haven't really been watching much of anything else, but I've been playing a few things that
Pokemon.
may or may not have changed much since our last What's Playing. But the one I've been playing maybe the most of that's not Pokemon related, because I know you guys don't care.
What?
Hey, you like
is
rocks, man.
Gears Tactics, which I got on. Shut up, Nick. It's funny though. It is so funny because it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gears Tactics. Been playing that a lot. Yeah, I mean by a lot, I mean I only have like 10 hours in the game, but
Whoa.
It's a fun game.
it's been really fun. Haven't played a Gears game since like the first one on 360, like back when it released. So I don't really recall much of Gears lore or anything. So I don't really know where this kind of finds its place in that.
That's before everything, isn't it?
I don't know. I just
Or, like,
said I don't
as
know.
I just said I don't know.
What are you asking me for?
It's like as it's happening.
Yeah.
invade.
Yeah, the story's been kind of cool. I mean, it's just like your typical like action-y Gears-esque story, but it's got that nice classic turn-based tactics gameplay, which everyone knows I'm a fan of. One thing I like, they have some pretty deep skill trees for the classes that are available. Now there's not a ton of classes available. I think there's like 4 or 5,
Gun,
which
gun,
is gun, the big gun, medium sized gun,
chainsaw gun,
yeah. But
rocket launcher.
yeah. But yeah, each class kind of has a pretty deep skill tree full of like passive upgrades and like
Wartail's
active
deep.
abilities that you can get.
There's isn't even that deep. Is it more or less than Wartails? Is my question.
It's probably similar.
Nice.
Maybe. Well, no. The Wartails skill tree is not very deep. This one is, I would say, is deeper because it has
Heroes of the Storm.
many
or
more.
Warcraft. Those are the two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. No, Gears is a pretty nice skill tree. And they allow you to get some like active abilities that you can use, which are pretty cool, which is standard practice for these types of games. But I like what they do, since everyone uses a gun. Each gun has a different ammo amount, and one thing that you have to factor into your turn using your action points is reloading your gun when you run out of ammo, which is something I haven't really come across in a turn-based tactics game yet. So that's cool. One of my favorite things, the sniper class has an ability where if you kill an enemy or knock down an enemy, which puts them in like an executionable state where they're incapacitated. Cool. If you do that when you hit them with your ability, it automatically reloads your gun for you, which is kind of nice. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it's been a really cool thing to play between my PC and the Steam Deck. It runs really great on the Steam Deck. Also, of course, runs great on the PC. But having that cloud save and being able to, play on either or has been really nice. I've been loving it. Picked it up during the summer sale for like $10. So
I was gonna say this is a 2020 game, I think, right?
Yeah,
This is
yeah, like, not super old.
Newer. This is newer for you.
Yeah. I know, right? Not my MO, but
Yeah.
I definitely, if you're into turn-based tactics games, I would definitely wishlist this, and next time it goes on sale, pick it up. If you're cheap like me, if you don't
Pick it
mind
up.
spending, what is it, like $30 or something?
Yeah,
Full
probably.
price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
$40.
$40. Holy cow. Yeah.
You
I
got
would
on the
definitely
deep
wait.
sale.
I definitely wait for it to go on sale. But apparently, according to How Long to Beat, it's like a mid 20, maybe close to 30-hour game to beat. So it's
Not bad for a tactics game. Yeah.
Yeah, 20-ish chapters across 3 acts. So you'll get your money's worth. That's for sure. But yeah. Dad, sir,
Yes.
do you have anything else you'd like to share with the group tonight?
Well,
It's like, damn it.
What?
It's like AA. That's what I was trying to think of.
He's like, dur.
So I've been playing 2 games. I've been going kind of bouncing back and forth on the Steam Deck between these 2 games. First game is called Prey. It
Yes.
came out in 2017, made by Bethesda or Arcane Studios and Bethesda. So I was trying to think of a way to make sense of it, like to explain it. It's like originally I had like The Thing, like John Carpenter's The Thing,
Yeah.
mixed with Venom in a space station.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's very fun.
It is.
I'm still getting the hang of like the combat, because like the first gun you get is like I don't even know how to describe it. You just shoot this bubbly
It's like
stuff and it like
glue, kind of.
something, but it like kind of like makes the aliens like kind of freeze. It's like I don't know. It's cool. It's pretty wild. They kind of remind me of spiders in space. I mean, it's kind of terrifying.
Alien spiders. Yeah.
Alien spiders. Very cool. They kind of like morph into like the objects around you, and like they kind of jump at you, which is also terrifying. But it's very fun.
It's still on sale on Steam right now, yeah?
I believe so. I picked it up for like $7, $8 maybe.
Oh yeah, that's a steal.
Nice.
So I saw that and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try this out.
Never played this. I have it on Epic somehow. Must have got it in like a free month or something.
Humble bundle.
But what made me want to play this game is you may have heard me talk about Gingy, the YouTuber on this channel. Has an amazing video dissecting Prey and its narrative and all that stuff. And pretty much any video that guy does, I'm like, wow, I really want to play that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what turned me on to Prey like a handful of months ago. So it's cool hearing that you picked it up and you're playing it.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? And I don't know why, but it reminds me of Control.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like because of like because you can go in and hack computers or like read other people's computers and check their emails and download files. Like it's very interactive that way. And that tells you the story. Like it kind of explains what's going on. Because there's emails back and forth between the doctor and the other workers about what happened to you, because something happens in the beginning. So it's cool that it sorry. Mike. I shouldn't have had the private chat open. But no, it's very fun. I really enjoy it. Looking forward to what else it has going on. The other game is Sekiro.
No.
I finally beat that mini boss, the
Let's
general.
go. Let's go.
Let's go.
I did exactly what you told me. I took your advice. I snuck up on that douchebag.
Be a ninja. Yep.
Got him. Yeah, took him out. It was good. I took out the next area of guys more stealthily. The big fat dude with the sledgehammer, stealth killed him. It was great. Now I'm at the. Is it an ogre that's
Chained
chained
ogre.
up?
Yep. That's your first hurdle, I'll say.
Okay.
The general is not really a hurdle. It's more of a tutorial boss, even though it's really difficult. Don't get me wrong.
It is, and I was like thinking I'm just gonna skip this dude. But then after I talked to you, I was like, okay, I just need to take your advice and do it. But this ogre is freaking ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I'm very embarrassed to admit this, but a lot of things didn't click for me in this game, like attaching the upgraded arm abilities. You have to assign them slots so you can use them.
Yep.
Because I was wondering why my shuriken went away. I'm like, I can't even throw these things anymore.
Yeah.
So I was messing around with it for a little bit and realized that I could add all my quick items, all the stuff in my inventory into the quick item slot. I just felt really stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that
hard.
flame, that freaking the flame weapon is super sweet.
Oh, so you got the flamethrower?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the whirlwind attack.
Oh yeah, that one's really good for specific bosses. So it's not really a spoiler. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Enemies with red eyes are scared of fire.
Yeah, I've been lighting him up.
Okay.
Well, actually, so my first, because I put two and two together finally, I threw an oil jar at him.
Yeah, boy.
And then
now we're learning.
And then lit him up.
Yeah.
And I noticed, like when he's down, you can grapple to him.
You can, yeah,
which is pretty cool. But
I think that's it. That's just great boss design because he can literally yeet you off the cliff by like body slamming you and throwing you, but it gives you an option to rope back so you don't die every time that he does that.
But dude, like one hit, man, he's just a freaking beast.
He's a tank. So that the reason I say that's your first hurdle is because you cannot skip him. You need to beat him to move forward.
Gotcha.
But clear the area out, get him all mad and off the thing, and then be a ninja because you can get a death blow on him if you're sneaky about it.
Okay.
If you run away and come back, you can knock it down. You could do that with a lot of the mini bosses in the game. You can get a death blow on them.
Well, I've noticed like with some of the other guys that are just roaming around, it's sometimes it seems like they'll forget about you. Like you kind of just disappear for a minute. They just kind of walk back. Well, that's like the two guys that are there right in front of the ogre dude.
Yeah.
Like I would throw like a jar at them. They'd get alerted and come towards the gate. I'd hide and they're like, oh, and then walk back.
And then you can get them. Yep.
This game is just freaking insanely good.
It is.
Between whatever is in Chad's walkthrough, like obviously you can get the death blow on him. But between that and there's something I did what you said to do, but I did it like in a cheesy way where I like kind of cheesed that boss. I he's really easy to kite up and down the stairs and time him out to where you can get just like a hit in and then take a break because he's so slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I usually do. I just run away from him a little bit and then I run back in at him or throw the fire at him.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I still hate the chained ogre, to be honest with you. And I'm very, very good at the base game, like to the point where I probably don't get hit. I still despise getting that freaking ogre every time. Just because
I'll never play that bull fight ever again in my life.
The bull. Oh, dude, it's so funny. Wait till I got to talk about the freaking mod. Or we were just talking about it now since we're playing Sekiro or talking about Sekiro.
Yeah, let's do it.
So
Let's do it.
I think I talked about this on previous episodes. I downloaded a mod called Sekiro Resurrection previously, and I played it while I was on vacation and beat it. And
It's
it
not
is
like
a
a vacation game, man. Like, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I mean,
no.
it is an overhaul to Sekiro, and it doesn't change a whole lot. It changes boss movements and enemy placements. That's it. So it feels like Sekiro. You're still doing the same stuff. You're still fighting the same enemies, but they're very different. So you have to relearn the bosses again, which I really enjoy that part of it. And that once you've beaten the game 10 times is removed. You know the bosses. You know exactly what they're going to do when they make this move and everything.
Yeah.
So I beat that. And then I moved on to a new one called Long May the Shadows Reflect. And
Man.
this one is same concept, overhaul for the whole game. Also adds in like 80 something bosses, mini bosses.
Sheesh.
Adds in whole new event things to the game. So it is so hard that I have reverted back to being a ninja. Typically when I play Sekiro, I go head on with everybody. I don't get death blows. I don't sneak up on anybody. I enjoy the fight. I enjoy the combat.
Yeah.
It's freaking impossible in this game. So I downloaded a ninja outfit, like a legit modded ninja outfit, and I'm back into the shadows because it is so hard.
Nice.
But I have finished one playthrough of it. It adds in 7 new prosthetic tools that are freaking awesome. It adds in a whole ton of new items. It adds, like I said, 80 mini bosses. There is an event in the base game of Sekiro, and I'm not going to spoil it since you guys are playing it, but it is an event that happens around the castle area of the map. The new events move that event to all the different locations throughout the map. So you get the same kind of thing that's going on there through all the different areas. It literally feels like a sequel through and through.
That's
The
sweet.
colors in the menu are different. Everything is different about it. It feels so different.
So what's your favorite game of all time?
I don't know, dude. Like the more I think about it, like it's
It might
creeping up
be.
there. I mean, if we looked hour wise, like, yeah, probably through and through. I mean, I sent a picture to Dad. I have like 500 something
Dude,
skill
it's
points.
ridiculous.
I have
Oh my
99
Lord.
attack power, and that's on the Steam Deck. That's not that doesn't count the PlayStation stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I play a ton of this game, dude.
I got a question.
We know this.
So you played it on the PlayStation and the Steam
Yeah.
Deck. Which
Yeah.
do you prefer to play it on?
So, that's a hard question. So for the base game, probably the PlayStation, because it does
Okay.
run 60 FPS. It is easier to play on a controller versus
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
the handheld thing. I think, yeah, like I said, I think the Steam Deck is good for like a second playthrough. You already bought it on Steam Deck, so you might as well roll with it. You don't know anything
Well,
different, so
I mean, I'm asking because I could get it on my computer and play with my PlayStation controller. Because
yeah.
that's how
Can
I
you
played Tomb
transfer
Raider.
saves between that?
Yes, I think. I mean, there's other games that I've played that I was able to do that. Like it saves the saves, so you can
Yeah.
jump back and forth.
Yeah, so if you can do that, yeah, I would definitely maybe get it for just
least-
the
at
main
least try it.
bosses. Yeah, the
Yeah.
main bosses alone.
Because it is weird handheld.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't feel like the type of game you would play
right. Yeah.
with a handheld like you'd
Yeah.
want to have a controller.
But now that I'm like in the weeds of the mods for Sekiro, yeah, I think Steam Deck all the way. PC, I mean, you can get that on PC too. So it's, I am just thoroughly impressed that this mod was made by like a dude. Like it literally
Wow.
makes Sekiro a sequel. I mean,
Wow.
What a
he's
great
got
game
list.
that you
What?
can. What a great base game that you can mod to just be the sequel.
I think
yeah.
Chad is
in love.
starting to understand my deep rabbit hole of Pokemon fan games.
I am, dude, and don't get me wrong, I was impressed with Resurrection, but it doesn't change the game radically. It changes boss movements, which, let's be honest, you're still doing all the same crap.
Yeah.
This radically changes the game to the point where there's sections of the game where I'm like, dude, this is like a sequel through and through. Like this section of the map you just walked through, and now there's like 15 bosses here you got to go hunt down. And there's even sections of the map that I didn't even know existed that I had to go to. Like there's a section in Harada that I had no idea was there. It's like a bamboo, like back in the bamboo woods. I had no idea was there, and I had to go like hunt a boss down.
That's wild. That one dude did this.
Yeah, one dude, presumably one dude. I assume it's a mod. You know, it's a mod. It's not like it's got a studio that did all of this.
Right.
But it is wildly difficult. That's the downside of it. So there's a thing in base Sekiro called terror. There's a couple enemies that cause terror buildup. If it builds all the way up, you instantly die. In this, terror has been changed to curse. Curse now is done by basically every enemy in the game. And then if it builds up all the way, you don't die, but it makes your health bar go down. And you have to keep healing in your health bar. And there are items to kind of remedy that you get later on that they added into this mod. But it just makes it so freaking hard, dude, because you have another thing you have to keep track of. You have to make sure that bar doesn't get up, or you're.
And there's already so many things to worry about.
Already
in the game.
so much going on.
I'm having like flashbacks to Darkest Dungeon because they have like the stress bar that's similar. If you max out your stress, you have a heart attack and die.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's funny because that's the best way to put it, because there's a big animal enemy that you fight in this. He does terror build up because he's terrifying, right? But it is in the base game, basically you have a heart attack and die. You get scared to death and you instantly die.
That's a really cool mechanic though.
It is.
And it adds like a whole new dimension to your
frustration,
character management. Cause like at least in Darkest Dungeon, like your stress levels don't reset after dungeons. So like I'd squeak through a dungeon barely surviving at like 80 stress or something, and then I'd have to like put those people in some form of stress relieving like activity in the town and not be able to use them for like a dungeon or two while they de-stressed. And it's just it sounds like, I mean, maybe it does sound like a lot, but it at the base it's like, oh, okay, so like another HP bar you have to manage, but like it just adds like a whole new fundamental like approach to your encounters. So I imagine it's probably similar in Sekiro.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the other thing that this mod adds in is a lot of stuff that is present in other From Software games that is not present in Sekiro. So From Software is known for putting you into a boss fight with like 30 enemies, and you have to kill a specific one in the group. There are several fights in this that are like that, and literally almost snapped my Steam Deck in half multiple times because they're just so infuriating. I don't want to say like this is great, that I'm so happy. I hate that they put it in there, but I like it because they're drawing from Software's past games. As well as fighting
often.
As well as fighting two bosses at the same time, which happens very frequently in this mod. Two bosses with two death blows at the same time.
Oh my god.
So it's just a lot, dude. And then the prosthetic tools they add in, so cool. And the way you get them, you have to like buy the scroll for them, and then it has like a list of items that you have to go get. So like 10 items. But you have no the other hard thing is this is a mod, so there's not like guides really on YouTube or anything. There's like one person that did like guide videos for it, and they're okay. So
sounds like you got a new assignment, Chad.
Yeah, I might have to do it because I feel like I know Sekiro better than I ever have after this mod, dude. Because like I said, there were sections of the map that I didn't even know existed, and I thought I knew everything about the game.
Oh my goodness.
But it's like the way you get these prosthetic tools is you have to go kill these different bosses. Mm-hmm. So you get one, and then you open up like a section of the map that's got some stuff going on, and that's where the bosses are. You get all those, and then you get the prosthetic tool. So I just got like my 5th one, the 6th one, and 7th one probably never gonna fucking happen, bro. Too hard, like way too hard. One of them there's like gauntlets that you can do where you run through like multiple of the in-game bosses in a row, back to back, and that's in the base game. But this is the mod version of those bosses, which are freaking ridiculously difficult. So that's not happening. And then the last section, the last event area of this game was so hard. I literally tried the final boss like 2 times. I was like, this is never gonna fucking happen, bro. This is not gonna happen. Not even gonna try. It's just not gonna happen. So I do have to give a shout out to the mod. I think it's freaking crazy just how much they went and did and changed in this, and awesome. Really made it feel like a Tears of the Kingdom style sequel, where it's like the same map, totally different shit that you're doing in it.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. Awesome. Nick, you got anything left on your...
I got a brand new game we're gonna play. That's my new thing. I'm gonna make games for us to play. So quick segment. All right. We can end on this. So we're going to guess. You each are going to get a guess at how many hours this Steam review has. It's a negative Steam review. So I'm going to read it to you. And you have to get a guess in terms of how many hours this person has played.
Okay.
The game is War Thunder. It's a free-to-play, like military, like tanks, airplanes, all that kind of game. So, review. Not recommended. The absolute worst developer there is. Balance issues, greed, endless grind to get you addicted. Do not get started playing this game. There is no joy to be found here. And despite the community outcry, the game is listed as mostly positive at the time of my edit. Don't be fooled. There's just as many bots reviewing the game as there are in it.
Okay.
500 hours.
Okay.
Is this like a Price is Right where the closest? Okay. $1 or 1 hour.
$1.
It is not literally Price is Right, but
it's gotta be.
He already said it was free too, by the way. So
the way you framed
lose.
it, the way you framed it, I think it's got to be something absurd. So I'm gonna go with like 1,700 hours.
Okay. At the time of the review, this was on July 12th. 3,748 hours.
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Like you hate the game so much, but you put 3,000 hours into it.
Wow.
And he's put 20 more since July 12th. So I wonder if he rage quit or
that's what it was. It was a rage review. It was a rage review. Dude, that's
so many hours for it.
That is probably like triple to quadruple the amount of hours that I put into Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima, and Grand Theft Auto 5 combined.
Dude,
literally.
Over 3,000, you said?
Yeah. Almost 4,000.
Remember our awesome office buddy?
Yeah.
Who
Team Fortress 2?
Somewhere in the mid 3,000 hours of Team Fortress 2. And
wow.
But he recommends the game.
He does.
Yeah, right.
we calculated what percentage of his life he spent playing Team Fortress 2, and it actually significant. It made the pie chart. Like it was at least 1% of his life he spent playing Team Fortress 2.
I think it was like 4%. Like it was a considerable amount. Like like you said, it shows up on the chart.
Yeah, like a single game, not just video games.
And he plays a lot of video games.
He does. He's an avid gamer. Actually, I just saw his Steam notification pop up showing he was playing something while we've been live. So, yeah. Do you have anything else, Nick, or you tapped out? You're tapped out. Chad, you got anything left?
Yeah, I got one thing. Let me just go through it quickly.
Sure.
So, as quick as I can, at least. I know you got issues over there. Maybe I'll take my time.
It is.
You know, hey, they
I know you got issues
over
there.
Come and go.
It passed.
So, because I had to become a ninja in Sekiro again, I went and watched Ninja Scroll, which is a early 90s anime movie.
Yes.
And it is disturbing how close this is to Sekiro, really. But it's basically like a wandering swordsman. I almost said wandering salesman. Different era.
What a
who
game.
has to take
what a
down
movie.
like these eight bosses basically throughout feudal Japan. And if you guys have not seen, if you're even remotely into anime or feudal Japan or anything, this is like the movie to see. However, it is absurdly difficult to find. It's not on any streaming services. It's not on anything. I had to go like to the dark web to find this thing, like like literally.
He's
And
now on an
it was
FBI
funny. I
watch
just want to
list.
go through. I want to go through like my course of events of finding this because I found like I wanted to get the English dub version because that's the one I remember from when I was younger. So I found like a horrifyingly terrible like camera in the movie theater quality English dub one. And then I found a Blu-ray rip Spanish dub, which was actually kind of funny to listen to for like the first 5 minutes because they're like, "Oh, mi amigos." So, and then I eventually found it like after literally 2 hours of searching for this freaking movie. I'm like, I know that this is like a huge reason that anime became so popular in the US. It's this, Akira, and Ghost in the Shell. And those ones you can find everywhere, Akira, Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
This one, can't find it anywhere. So I don't know what's going on there. But it's really, really good, dude. There's a lot of dark shit in it, like a lot of dark stuff you wouldn't expect to see in an anime per se. But it's cool to see like how far anime has come from where it is now, you know what I mean, to where it started. But this was deep, and there was a time when anime was very underground, you know what I mean? Like you'd find stuff in New York City like that people were selling, that's about it. This is from that time frame. But very video gamey. Like I said, 8 bosses, they all have different powers, and then there's like a big boss at the end. So it's an interesting movie because I'm trying to figure out like what came first. Like, did this inspire video games or did video games inspire this? But this is like early 90s. So I think it has to be. But very Kojima as well, I might want to put out. So if you play any of the Metal Gear games, like it has to be a huge inspiration for all those games.
50-minute cutscenes.
Yeah, no, not 50-minute cutscenes. But it's like super grounded story, but with characters that aren't so grounded. So there's like one that controls like a nest of hornets, one that controls snakes, one that has like this cool freaking like lion weapon that he electrocutes people with. It's just really cool. Really, really good. And really good for a 90s anime. I'm not a big 90s anime person. Maybe it's because it's a movie and it was a little bit higher budget, but well worth the watch if you can find it, which
What's
you
it
won't
called?
be able to. What'd you say?
Ninja
he called?
Scroll.
Ninja Scroll. Now, there is a Ninja Scroll series on Crunchyroll. Don't get that mixed up. That's the series continuing the story of Jubei, the main character in the movie.
You can watch on YouTube.
Jordan also
I don't
agreed
know
with
that you
Chad in
can.
our text and said that it's pretty good.
He did. Yeah.
So the rest of the games I have on my list, been playing through Shank a little bit here and there, Banner Saga replay on the Steam Deck and PC a little bit, Pokemon Ultra Sun playthrough, and then of course our Pokeboy Season 2 Draft Lock Challenge through Row, which has been an uphill, downhill roller coaster ride so far. This portion that we're getting ready to record next week has been the downhill portion of the roller coaster for me. So, yeah, just leave it at that. Dad, do you have anything left?
No.
No. All right.
No.
Well, yeah, that's what we've been watching, what we've been playing. Sounded interesting to you. Make sure you add it to your backlogs or dive right in. Leave a comment here on the video letting us know if anything that we have been watching or playing sounds interesting to you, or if you have anything that you've been watching or playing that you think we might enjoy. Also, don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. We're still trying to give away the OLED Switch, so help us make that happen. And I don't know. Is there anything else we need to talk about, or?
Were we gonna reveal the movie that we're?
Oh yeah.
Ah, good call. Good call. Yes. So next week we're gonna be again debuting our new episode concept, overrated or misunderstood, and we're gonna be watching a classic Jaws, classic summer movie. Right before I head down to Florida to live, gonna watch a movie about killer sharks.
It's just like a
Great
poor
idea.
idea.
Great timing.
But yeah, we're gonna watch Jaws. We're gonna review it next week, and then determine if the movie's actually overrated or if it's simply misunderstood. Chad, also you finished Demon Slayer companion series.
I did.
That playlist is over on YouTube and on our audio platform, so check
Brady
that
was
out.
so sad when we got done. He was like, "Can we do season 2?" I was like, "I mean, I guess we could go back and do season 2." So
do it.
yeah.
So go check that out. Keep your eye out for Pokeboy season 2 over on the Showboys platforms, and we'll see you next week when we talk about Jaws. Till then, you guys have a good one.
Peace out.
Bye.
Yeah.
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 Mike mysteriously God.
He's
He had
gone
to
for
run.
a long time. Gone.
There's a 2-disc version of this that's $207.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah, because I looked
Yeah.
at getting the Blu-ray of it.